All right, howdy from, where am I? Mission Bay, San Francisco. It's a gorgeous day today. This is the second sermon or ministry of Church of Great Scott. And I just went to church for the second time. First time was last week. I went with as a little bit as a child, but not much. Then I went today, and I've been studying quite a bit of Jordan Peterson's biblical series on YouTube, and then doing my own research. And so I'm going to my alma mater's church now, St. Ignatius, and I love St. Ignatius. He's a rad dude, and I really see a lot of connections between him and I. So anyways, I'm going to get right into it, and I'm going to talk about Sodom and Gomorrah and my interpretation on Sodom and Gomorrah, the story, and really from a metaphysical and metaphorical and psychological viewpoint. Is I'll sum it up basically from my understanding is Abram and Sarai. So basically Sodom and Gomorrah is pretty much all about taking a long time not having kids, then being good with God for a little bit and being tested on that, and then having to move and keep going deeper into sacrifice and dangerous areas, then longing to have a son or a family, and then basically going into a city that was full of hedonism and debauchery, and then being asked to get up and get out of there, but not leaving quick enough. And then it got weird, and hedonism and all sorts of crazy stuff. Then there is some drinking, and then some incest, and then circumcision, and the letter H, and no bueno. So what's the moral of the story? Well, circumcision, first of all, I believe I was circumcised, but I sure wish I wasn't. And I saw a research video, like a doctor's video, an instructional video on circumcision. I wasn't sure from what hospital, but I almost puked, and then I got real sad and angry. And the poor little 8-day-old boy was screaming so hard he was choking. And that can't be good. And I know that all those emotions got to be stored deeply on a cellular level, and that has got to be the worst thing you could possibly do to a human being, a baby boy, especially at any age, but day 8. And so that's written in the Hebrew Bible. And so, man, if my God told me to cut off brutally, in a barbarian surgery, cut off my baby boy's penis, the tip of it, I'd change gods. And no matter how much you want to justify it, why, and sacrifice this and all that, and cleanliness, it still doesn't, for me, it doesn't excuse the barbaric procedure, and it's insane. So that's got to go. And I wouldn't be surprised if circumcision was the root of all major biblical wars. And it's just horrible. So circumcision, and that's what I got, and that's right in the Bible. And dude, that is some heavy stuff to put on a little baby boy. And my guess is all these mass shooters in these high schools these days are circumcised boys coming from a fatherless family who are jacked up on antidepressants. So we got the fatherlessness, married out of wedlock. We got the circumcision, and we got the pharmakeia, pharmaceuticals all in there. And so that's really a lot of the problems of today's world are pretty much in these categories. And so I'm going to keep interpreting my, because everyone can read the Bibles differently and see different things, and so I'm looking just to ask my higher self for the proper guidance and the truth behind it all. And that resonates with me with Sodom and Gomorrah, is that hedonism and debauchery, getting drunk, and hedonism and incest and all that stuff did not lead to a good ending. And so the proof is in the pudding, I always say. So you know, we can, at the end of the day, only I know how we're doing. And if we're settled and grounded and pouring out love and healthy, physically and mentally, nourished and laughing and playing, then I think we're on the right track, and we're obeying by, you know, God's special rules that I think are distinguishing between good and bad is a no-brainer. We all know what's good and bad, and how we find out if we're not sure is the proof is in the pudding. So there you have it. So circumcision, dude. And so I have some, was it Exodus and Leviticus? There's actual some circumcision quotes, or no, was it that? Yeah, I'm learning all that. No, that was for usury. Now I'll do a whole nother little 10-minute sermon on usury. So that's the interest tax you put on anybody who's not Jewish, and let's see how that works out. So, man, I know that in Islam it's like one of their worst things. They can't stand usury, and I think it's the crux of all of our whole greed system. When you put interest, when you lend money and you put interest on it, that just creates negativity no matter which way you look at it. So there's some weird things, you know, with the money changers, you know, and Jesus kicking out the money changers from the temple, to usury, to circumcision, and man, there's some crazy stuff. So that's why I'm really motivated to start my own ministry right now. And if you're wondering if I was anointed or not by God, and I asked God if I'm good to go, and basically I got the messages, if anybody watches these videos, then, you know, the proof is if it's just what I'm saying is falling on deaf ears. So that'll be the real kicker, you know. And so far I think I got a couple people to watch the last video, and you know, some of the biggest congregations started with just a few people. So we'll see. I kind of look to my church as being really outside in nature and in wherever I am. But I'm going to continue to go to St. Ignatius here in San Francisco at my alma mater at USF, University of San Francisco, every Sunday. And I just love the vibe there. It's a gorgeous cathedral, and I'm feeling really drawn to St. Ignatius and the Catholic Church. And hopefully I can be of some service to them in that community as while I'm in my own healing process. So to sum it up, Sodom and Gomorrah, no bueno. I think we can learn from their mistakes that hedonism and debauchery leads to incest and drunkenness and longing for a child, all that stuff. You know, if you watch my first video about being celibate, and that's another thing about St. Ignatius, he was all about chastity and poverty. And I filed my taxes for last year, and I'm getting back $2. So I'm right there, even Steven. And I had the most amazing, abundant year last year. I was very frugal with my spending, and but I took some amazing trips and did a lot of great stuff, and it was the best year of my life. And this year is starting off pretty good too. So yep, that's what's up. Sodom and Gomorrah is and I'm learning from Jordan Peterson's biblical series. So, you know, there's something. Okay. All right. Why? Oh, okay. All right, I gotta go. I'm in a dangerous place. Danger. What was I saying? St. Ignatius, chastity and poverty, you know, and celibacy. And, you know, if we're by ourselves, you know, unmarried and celibate, then we're thinking about God. And as soon as we get married, then we're thinking about the world and our wife. So you can watch the first video, and I'd love to hear your feedback. And so I'm keeping these under 10 minutes. I guess I'm standing on some dangerous ground over here, and because the tide comes in and out. And that's it. I love you guys. And yeah, check out isness.live. I have a little healing offering that I do with and I cruise around the city and offer like energy healing, like I'm calling it random road Reiki. And that's getting some pretty good traction. I'm basically trying to channel in some healing and help people heal themselves. So howdy from San Francisco. And yeah, I'll keep on doing these as long as people are watching.